So here we're we're looking at the Triumph Hotels homepage. First thing you'll notice is we've got the branding right here in the middle of the screen. And it's a little bit difficult to read just because we've got these nice big images behind it, and there's not a lot of contrast, behind it. So if I were going to do this and keep a level of transparency like this with an image in the background, I would probably add an alpha transparency just to make it darker right behind that logo, just so you could read it. Otherwise, it's kind of getting lost here. It's more of a branding issue though than a conversion rate optimization issue. You'll notice we've got the Book Now button up here in the top right, which is, frankly, it's a little hidden up there. I would probably drop that front and center somewhere around here. You've captured the entire viewport here with this image, and while we want to focus on how the hotels look, it's definitely limiting what we can do outside of this one, magic viewport. So first thing I'm going to do, let's click Exit Full Screen, which most people are probably not going to do. It's not a big queue here to click on this. This gives us the text that we're looking for. Tells us a little bit about each one. About your different hotels. So let's go like this. Okay, so we're Tribeca, Cosmopolitan. This gives us a little bit of insight into each one of the hotels. It's buried a few clicks deep though. So let's go back up to the menu. It lists out all of your hotels, but doesn't do a good job of giving any sort of unique selling proposition for any of them. So what I might suggest here is, and if we have some sort of menu like this, is to list the name and then a one-sentence description. Actually, frankly, right here is one. For the Iroquois, a luxurious Midtown New York City hotel. If that was just a tagline below Iroquois, that would probably work. So just giving a little bit more information so someone can make an informed decision on which one to even click through. Otherwise, it's just a meaningless list of hotels that if I've never been to New York City, if I've never stayed or in these hotels or heard of them, the names alone are basically completely useless to us. So we have to give some sort of cue, and they probably match up with each one here. Historic Choice and Flatiron, that would work. Historic Upper West Side, that it just gives us some sort of cue about where the hotel is and allows us to make a little bit better informed decision. So let's see, we've got dining. Let's actually try to book a room. So over here we're in the Book Now little section here. So I've got to select a hotel. Let's say I've gone through all the list of hotels and I have an idea of which one I want to do. First of all, this check availability, you notice it's just text. It's not even underlined, so it doesn't give us any sort of indication that it's clickable. I can hover over it and kind of figure that out. But the best calls to action, like check availability, should always occur in something that's clearly a button, something that's really clearly clickable. Even just underlining this text would have improved its usability. So we click through. This passes us off to the third-party booking system, Synexus or Sabre service. Here, it's breaking us up into steps: dates, rooms and rates, packages, checkout, review, and confirm. Seems a little bit arduous, but not too bad. Okay, so this is just your standard, probably jQuery, calendar picker. We'll alter the dates a little bit. Okay, now look, I've chosen my dates. I've chosen my number of guests. Here, there's one thing that I want the person to be able to do, and that's click this check availability button. That's the main purpose of this page once they've filled out these items. So, what I would suggest again is making it a very high contrast button. Really any color here would work, just because it's such muted tones. Any sort of, what we really want is contrast, so we know So we're guiding the person through each step. So again, higher contrast, bigger, more prominent, better. So here we're checking availability. This is that strange way of showing the different rates depending on, you know, the rate that the user qualifies for. We have flexible AAA, AARP, and a government rate. That's interesting. So now you'll see what we want to do is, you know, I know I'm just going to choose the flexible rate. So my next course of action is to view available rooms. Again, this is button-esque as it has like a stroke around it, and there's some height to the button, some depth, but it's not really. It's the same muted brown tone, that tan tone that the rest of the site is built in. You know, a lot of text coming up in that tan all over the place. It's not high contrast. It doesn't really draw your eye. Additionally, I feel like this should be right aligned, just because that's generally how we work. You know, we read left to right. We always want to end up on the right and click on the right. So we show the rooms here. You know, so we select our room. This is probably good enough. Got an Ajax E sort of spinner there. Okay. So I am not a registered user, so I guess I'm just going to leave those blank. I'll fill in my information here. Okay, autofill it. I don't know whatever that is. Okay, so we've got the tab order, and it does pay. Okay. So I've run through this before, and this doesn't actually validate my credit card number, which seems like an odd decision. So let's see what happens if I don't put in the credit card. Okay. And here we go. Okay, so this kicked me back in error. I feel like this one is an odd one, forcing us to choose a title, but not really a deal breaker. Okay, so I don't want to check in a fake credit card, so I'm just going to stop right here. So, you know, here we've got two buttons, review reservation and confirm reservation. There's not really a great reason to have this review reservation here, in my opinion. I would much rather use the back button, or maybe make these clickable if I need to go and change them. But really, we want them to confirm. We don't really want them to review so much. You know, if we wanted to have make this more prominent here, the modify, that would make sense. Modify your reservation. But really, giving people two options reduces your likelihood of clicking through. So it's just a conversion rate optimization no-no. But I think that pretty much gets us through the Cosmopolitan Hotel, booking process, and we'll get back to working on some of the other.